Well, hello there, all you amazing people. This is really, really early morning, so I have my cup of coffee because I need to record videos in the winter time when the sun is actually out in Denmark. And I know it may enrage you or make you angry, but please hear me out. Please watch to the end, then comment. If you then choose to dislike or like, do whatever you feel you want to. If you really, really want to hear more or follow this tech journey with me, click the subscribe button, and you can also go on my Discord and suggest videos that you want me to make and stuff like that. But I'm going to talk about extremism in the tech world, and I'm going to mention some areas, but don't necessarily think that these are the only ones. These are just like the most outrageous areas where we see a lot of extremism. And when I mean extremism, I mean massively overly, what is it called, advocating for it, to the degree where they send, jump into pits and lava pits in Minecraft threats to people. They want people to lose their jobs because they work for X, Y, and Z area, X, Y, and Z area with X, Y, and Z technologies and stuff like that. But before we go into all of this, you see, I just googled tech companies and you see a lot of tech companies. And I want you to remember one thing. And this goes for clothes, anything, perfume, electronics, anything in this world. No company, as much as you like their product, no company cares about you. And this goes for organizations that is non-profit also. LibreOffice, the Linux kernel, you as an individual, they don't care about. They don't. If you want to go a little bit mask off and go a little bit more into what we're doing right here with YouTube, you as an individual viewer is not that important. It's the collective. It's all of the viewers. It can be 10 viewers. I would say this is a good debate that the less viewers on my channel that don't have that many views, one viewer matters more than if you go on to Linus Tech Tip where if one viewer is dissatisfied or yell and scream and don't like what he's doing or they are doing, nobody gives a flying fuck, okay? We have to realize this. We have to step out of our main character syndrome a little bit and acknowledge that for the vast majority of instances in this world, tech, non-tech, jobs, whatever it is, we are meaningless. We are red shirts. We are the extras in movies. We are not the ones that everything is evolving around. For your family, your friends, you are the main character in your life, but only in your own life, not in everyone else's. And you play a really, really big role in your partners, your families, and your friends' life. But that to the extent that we matter as a human to anyone else. Before we go and carry water or advocate for anything where we either pay to use their product or they need us to further the product. So if we don't pay for the product, we are either the product or they need us to justify their existence. And a lot of tech companies, a lot of free products, a lot of open source products, even a lot of proprietary products make really, really great products, or organizations, makes really, really great products that makes our life better and is helpful for society. But their main goal, if it's a company like Microsoft, Google, what you see over here, their main goal is keep you using their products so they can make more money and justify their existence and don't basically not have a job anymore. If you go over to the free, like you don't pay for the product, so it could be open source, it could be proprietary, tech free to play games. Their main goal is to make sure that you play their games as much as possible. Maybe even buy some microtransactions so they can justify their existence and make money so they can keep being in business. It's the same with LibreOffice, the Linux kernel, Canonical, anything that's free. You are also a product, but to them, you are nothing more than a statistic. They need you, or a lot of you, so they can say, hey, sponsor us, give us money because so many people need us. And if you don't like what they are doing, and you were like 1 or 5 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 people, they don't care, because there's hundreds of thousands of people that do like what they're doing. And that's what they're counting on. Every company and every organization, free, open source, free-to-play games, whatever it is, are trying to cater to the majority. So when you're starting to carry a lot of water of becoming basically an extremist because you want to defend these companies or these organizations, because an organization is just a company that don't make money. That's why not always, but we tend to call, like the Linux Foundation. So if you hear foundation, organization, there's a high chance that they are non-profit. But that don't mean they don't want to make money. That don't mean they don't make money, because non-profit doesn't just mean that they're not in there to make a profit, but they are in there to make enough money that they can pay for developers, management, infrastructure, and all that. So they need to make money. A lot of people think that non-profit means that no money is getting circulated around in those organizations / foundations. They are functioning in the exact same way as a for-profit company. They are just not in it to make profit. And if they do make profit, a lot of times they donate or give that away to either the community or charities and stuff like that. And their goal is not to accumulate profit as a for-profit is. That's the only difference. They will still have a CEO that, take a salary of hundreds of thousands of euros or hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. They still have developers that, 6-figure fucking salaries also, that they have to pay. But they need money to survive. So when you're starting to carry water for any company, being super advocate, like everything should be using this, blah, 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 you're becoming an extremist that can't see the nuances in the world anymore. You're becoming a person where it's this thing or nothing. And the second you say this is the solution for everything, you cannot give good advice anymore. You have lost the broader scope of what's going on. No religion is one religion to rule everything. One political party is not the one party to rule everything. One coding language is not the only coding language to do everything in. Not one OS is the one OS and only OS to do everything in. It won't work. It can never work. Because if you have one thing to rule all, it will foster dictatorship, limitlessness, anti-competitiveness, and blah, blah, blah. It will. History has shown that as long as there is a history to record. When something becomes the only thing, it ends up being bad for you and me. Well, for you and me, not me. I'm not you. It always ends up being bad. Competition is the best thing ever. If you care about evolving technology or anything, you want as many competitors as possible. Why am I driving this in so much? Because we have a lot of extremism in technology. AI, for example. There is a lot of people that is dreaming of what AI is doing right now, can't wait for the Uwu girlfriends to become reality, like the Android robots, so they don't have to associate with real people and stuff like that. There are people carrying so much water for AI, they are stopping therapy, they stop going to the doctors, they stop talking to other people because AI does all of that for them. And it's catering more for them than any other human being is doing. So they want AI to become better and better and better and better. And then we have all the AI providers, which is another kind of like, if you're one of these pro-AI people, like you are a vibe coder and stuff, like you have to remember one thing. Right now, a lot of people say the AI bubble is about to burst. The only people that are not saying the AI bubble is about to burst: Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta. Why are they not saying it? Well, because those are the ones providing you the AI. Those are the ones right now making millions and billions of dollars of you using their AI models. Everyone else, and we're talking Amazon's Bezos chief and Elon Musk and all of these high up in the food chain people, even economists, even I think the grandfather of AI, what you would call like people that was really invested in the AI back in the 80s and 90s, they are all saying, like what we would call AI experts, that the bubble is about to burst. But if you are one of those that's so blindsided by AI and vibe coding and I don't have to fucking think AI do everything for me. You won't see this. You won't acknowledge this because, they are anti-AI, they are this and that, and they don't want the future to advance and blah, blah, blah. What if you are the one that are a sheep? What if you are the one with blindfolds on? Because you're blindly carrying water and supporting something that the majority of people, experts in the field, are saying is not sustainable. Another thing here is open source, which in its purest form, FOSS, open source, call it what you will, in its purest form is nothing more, and it's going to anger a lot of people, is nothing more than a development philosophy. It's a tool a company, an organization, a development team can use to develop software. And I have for over 30 years heard all of the excuses, all of the talking arguments for why FOSS or Linux is better than blah, 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 and why Windows is better than blah, 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 why proprietary software is better than blah, 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 and why Mac is better than blah, blah, blah. And they are all wrong. It's not like it's only the FOSS world that's wrong or the Linux world. No, they are all wrong. If you think that X, Y, and Z is the best for everything, you are wrong. And I really, really want to try. If they say that don't mean you can't like it, you can't use it, you can't prefer it, and you can't advocate for it. But if you're advocating or liking it or preferring it, you also have to acknowledge that in some instances, FOSS, Linux, Mac, or Windows is not the answer. Some places Windows is better than all of them. Some places proprietary software is better than all of them. And another one, like the programming language, I'm just picking on Rust because I love angering the Rust people. But it's like the coding language, like open source Linux and coding languages are like every developer have their favorite fucking coding language, and not every developer is like that, but a lot of developers, no matter what you ask them, can you build this, or what language should I use to build this, they will just say their favorite coding language. They will disregard the company culture, previous coded bases that the company has. If you're a Rust person, Rust for everything. And again, that is not good, because Rust is not for everything. Rust has a massive amount of places where it makes a lot of fucking sense. So do C, C++, Java, Kotlin, Dart, Flutter, or Flutter is the front end, but C, C Sharp, .NET. They all have places where they are the answer over any other coding language. I have a personal, little guideline. So if I go and ask anyone for advice, and without thinking, without asking me more questions, I'm like, what should I use for this? Or can you help me how should I do this thing? And their answer without thinking is use this product for this company, or use this system for this company. And that can be open source Linux, that can be proprietary Windows, it can be C Sharp, Rust, it can be Stanley, and if they go to without thinking, they just barf it out of their mouth. Without asking what I actually need. It's just this thing. I don't listen to them. Because if I ask you, what should I use for this? You should ask me more questions. What OS should I use? It's a complicated question. What coding language should I use? Complicated question. What word processor should I use? Complicated question. What is your past experience? What are you looking out to do with X, Y, and Z technology? Why do you ask this question? How do your future look like? These are just some of the easy ones you have to ask them. Because especially in the tech world, if you go ask a Microsoft sales rep we want to refactor, do this kind of thing, of course they're going to say Microsoft products. That's why a lot of times when people, they want to upgrade their code base, refactor their code base, do anything in technology. What most companies, IT department, software department, whatever they do, they go and ask a lot of people. They don't just go to, unless they have a deal with them, They don't just go to Microsoft. They go to Microsoft, they go to this company, they go to that company, they ask people around them if they have any suggestions, and then they shop around to find the best fit. And the people that are like that are, like Apple for everything, Linux for everything, they don't care about you as an individual. Because they're carrying so much water and are so blinded and so extremist in that belief that they basically are brand ambassadors. They only care about the advancement of the brand. They are crusaders for the brand. The most important for them is how many people can I force into Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever, Rust, whatever it is. How many people can I get to use this? This is why I have a little bit of a problem with the Fuzzworld's use of converting. We are converting people. It's like way back in the day, if you liked you went to conversion camp. Or if you didn't have the right, if you didn't think the way that the powers that be think, you went into re-education programs. You should not have to do that. If you have to force people or mindfuck people into using your product or use the product you want them to use, you are wrong. You are doing a wrong thing. You are not helping them. You think you are, but you're not. Because those kind of people don't give a fuck about the person that want to experience a new thing or are asking for another way of doing things. They are only caring about, can I make them a Rust person? Can I make them a Windows person? Can I make them a Linux person? Can I make them a Java person? Because that's more for us in the fight. A lot of the alternative operating system people and a lot of the alternative coding people, so Rust and coding languages that are not super popular, they will call people like me, like you, that use whatever we need to use to get the job done, sheeps. So when people start calling you an extremist, you a sheep, there's a high chance that they are basically just telling you what they are. The most extremist people I've seen on the internet are the ones calling everyone else extremist. The most intolerant people I've seen on the internet are the ones calling everyone else intolerant. But there are so many people that get so much invested into tech, it becomes their identity and their religion. And that's the first clue that they are becoming a sheep extremist. Anyway, little weird video. Hope you all are good. See you later. Bye bye.